Welcome to Unapologetically Badass, the podcast for women over 40 who are done dimming their light. I'm your host, Renee Fleming, coach, queen, and master of the midlife glow up. Solo chats, epic guests, no filter. Let's freaking go. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Unapologetically Badass podcast. I am thrilled to be here. I am Renee Fleming, and we have such a special guest on today. So thrilled to have Danielle Mullins here. Hello, honey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. So we titled this Crowned in Confidence, Danielle Mullins on Reinvention, Resilience, and Radical Self-Belief. So welcome. I am thrilled to share your journey with everyone.
Thanks. I'm honored you want to. So thank you for that.
Love it. So we met, was it post-COVID? It was pre-COVID.
I think it was post-COVID at the Global Beauty Awards.
Yes, but we had met like online and then met in person at the Global Beauty Awards, right, in Washington. So yeah, that was post-COVID because you were crowned, you were Miss Earth.
Yes, I was Miss Earth USA at the time. That feels like such a lifetime ago, but when I stop and think about it, it's really not been that long ago.
Yeah. And how did you get into pageantry? Were you in pageantry when you were young?
I was, and my mom actually had a very hard time with it when I told her I wanted to get into pageantry. Also, on a side note, if you hear little bells in the background, that's my cat. Apparently, this is the witching hour. He tends to pick it whenever I need to do something like this. He
You
sleeps
know
the
what?
rest of the day, but
It's
that's
just
okay.
it's
That's
as
my
soon as,
child.
yep, exactly. It's like human kids. I mean, as soon as mom's busy, that's when
Oh, yeah.
they pester. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
love it.
totally him. He thinks he's a human child, so it works. But pageantry, I wanted to get into it, and my mom was so hesitant because of everything that had happened with John Benet Ramsey. It very much spooked her out, and she didn't want that to be me. And she also didn't want me to grow up and compare myself to other people, feel that I'm not good enough, or feel that, my self-worth and my self-validation was placed in the hands of other people. So as I grew older and I grew more confident, I had a friend who did pageants, and my mom could see the confidence that she had and how she just didn't really give a fuck what people thought about her, and she was herself and she owned it, and thought, maybe she should let me try it. Maybe I would have the same effect. So sure enough, I got into it and I grew just so much as a person, and my confidence grew, and she loved it, and this became like our thing that we did. And in pageants, there's all sorts of different kinds. Some will have like talent, most of them will have an interview round. Of course, there's the pretty gowns, but just different things to it. And the interview round killed me every single time. I hated it. I hated talking to strangers. I hated not knowing what they were going to ask me and having to think like on the spot with it. And instead of stepping back to say, okay, I need to learn this, I stepped back and said, okay, I'm not good at this, so I'm not going to do this. And when I was 18, I actually quit pageantry and said, forget this, I'm done with it. I never want to come back to this. This just isn't meant for me. So through then, I went off to college. I actually got started in a direct sales venture at the time, and I learned a lot about like the power of the mindset and self-belief. In college, went through a breakup, went on a self-love journey, went through a couple breakups, went on a couple self-love journeys, learned how to like be my own person, live on my own,
Yeah.
and to do the things that make me happy. Also, in this time, I lost my dad to cancer, and to go through that experience with him and to see, for one, just the regret on his face every day, to wake up and know like today could be the last day, and there's so much he wanted to do in his life that he wanted to do with me and my brother and like with our family that we didn't get to do. I realized then I will be down that same path if I don't wake up now, and if I don't start living life now and taking advantage of life now. And my dad gave a lot to make sure that my brother and I could have a better life, so I didn't want all of this to go to waste. So pandemic hit, I quit my direct sales venture. I started bartending, looking to see what I wanted to do in life, even though I had a college degree. I knew I didn't really want to work for somebody else. I wanted to work for me. And bartending was kind of that thing to let me stop and say, like, okay, I'm going to make money, but I'm going to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
And through this, the Miss Earth USA pageant had their first ever Kentucky pageant. And I loved the system. I'd actually been kind of watching it for a couple years and thinking like, wow, that would be really cool to try. But interviews and pageantry. I'm not good at this stuff. So I decided, with everything in mind, that if I didn't try, I would never know. And I gave my hand at it. Came in dead last place, had an interview round, bombed it, go figure. But then I spent the next year like really focusing on everything that was my shortcoming and becoming like a student to the craft and learning how to perfect my skills. So the following year, I came back to win Miss Kentucky Earth, went on to win Miss Earth USA, and then got to go to Vietnam to compete at the Miss Earth competition. And I was in Asia for like a little over a month, and it was just an experience I would have never thought possible for myself, even though I knew it was something I wanted, but I had to change so much about my mindset to be able to get there and to be able to do that. And so I look back now with like just so much gratitude for it all. But I also say pageants are a cult because all of us at some point say we're going to quit, like I did when I was 18, and it never fails. We all get back into it at some point. So
Yes,
they're a cult.
pageantry has got such a, pageantry and direct sales, I think, have got a lot of synergistic qualities. There's a lot of really great and there's a lot of really ick, right? But
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
self-development that you get out of pageantry is something that I really wish I wish they taught more about the aspects of it, like interview in school, because
Yes.
the insight that you gain from competing in a pageant and preparing for a pageant and putting yourself out there are things that will travel with you for the rest of your life, no matter whether you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to go for a job interview. Like, these things are so important, and I don't think we're teaching the younger generation enough of it.
I completely agree. And even though now, like, I know I like working for myself, I don't want to work for somebody else. When I was in high school or in college and I did need a job and I would go into a job interview, even though pageant interviews and we didn't get along, I would excel though so much further in a job interview because I did already have just those basic skills to help me to be able to think a little bit on the spot to give like a solid answer and come off confident when I did it.
Right, right. So are you so okay, you pivoted when your dad was sick. You were like, okay, this is my wake up call. I'm
Yes.
going to do things that I want to do and live my life without regret. So besides pageantry and crushing it, what else have you pivoted and, are doing?
There's been a couple things. My time bartending was transformational for me. That is something I never thought I would do, but it's something I'm so grateful I did. And honestly, just having kind of like, people will probably laugh when I say this, but having like a steady income coming in, which sounds kind of ironic for bartending because it's not, hourly,
Mhm.
right? But to just be able to bring in an income that I knew was going to take care of paying my bills and give me time outside of a job to think and process what I wanted to do with my life in all areas was beyond helpful. So during the pandemic, I had also ate all my quarantine snacks the day I would buy them. I gained a whole bunch of weight in this time. Weight is something that has always been a struggle for me. I've not really understood like healthy lifestyles. I didn't know what macros were, even though I heard people talking about them. I just knew like I had my fitness pal. It would tell me to eat like 1,200 calories a day, and I would go do a whole bunch of cardio and didn't understand why my weight would do crazy things like this. So, pandemic hit. To work from home so much, I hated working out from home as well. I needed to get out and be social, but I hated going to the gym in a mask. So it just became honestly like lazy excuses for why I didn't do it, and found myself putting on weight, but I because you're not getting out and putting on normal clothes and like seeing yourself in the same light. I wasn't catching on to how quickly and how much weight I was putting on until I started bartending and having to like put on jeans and leave the house. I was like, wow, okay, the jeans, they don't even go over the hips. What's happening here? So in this time, I also had just other health issues pop up. Like for me to get up and get out of bed in the morning, I had to sit because I didn't have like the strength to honestly like pull myself up. My joints just hurt so bad. I was miserable in my own skin. And at the time I was 23, turning 24, and my mom was getting ready to have her hip replaced. And she was too young, honestly, to be like thinking about having a hip replacement. And I realized, like, okay, joint problems are something that run in the family. My grandmother's had like both shoulders, both hips, both knees done. So if I'm 23 and I'm feeling this way, like, what am I heading towards? What is this that's going to mean for me? So I called my first trainer, and hired him on the spot and was ready to change everything with my life. And in this time, I also became plant-based, having to like cook meals for myself and not just eat the food at the bar.
Yeah.
Looking at raw chicken, I couldn't stand it. So cut that out, went vegetarian. Actually, this year I went completely vegan, decided this is close enough. Why not go all the way? But I transformed my life and now have like a very healthy lifestyle. I understand food. I understand the way to work out and like fuel your body and how it's going to carry you through it. So it's made a big difference for me and for my health. But also in this time bartending, knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else. And I would sit and try to like request off to go take some hair and makeup clients. I was doing hair and makeup pretty part time at the time, but it started to become more common. I wanted to go be with the clients more, or since I was mostly doing pageant hair and makeup, I was hiding in the bathroom to see, okay, like how are the girls doing today since I can't be there? Who's winning? I'm so proud of them. I love this world so much. And I realized this is where I need to be. As much as I've dragged my feet on it, as much as I've hated it. And of course, this is all prior to me coming back into competing myself,
Yeah.
that this was just my world and my lane and it's where I wanted to be. And so I let that start to take over and become more part time and less like a hobby. And it became an issue at the bar. And I was kind of met with the realization of, you can't keep taking off weekends. So you need to pick it's
Mhm.
us or the hair
Mhm.
and makeup. I will say from the time in direct sales, I've learned a lot. Sometimes you have to make yourself very uncomfortable to push yourself. And so maybe it wasn't in like the smartest decision for me to be like, okay, we'll consider this my notice, but I did it and I knew I was just going to figure it out and make it work. And so since then, I've figured it out. I've made it work. I've done this full time now for 4 years. I love it oh so much. It's grown. I've actually, my brand just got, I've been calling it a facelift. So it's gone from me being a solo artist to me contracting other artists to come in and work under me. I love being able to show people that there is possibility to
Yeah.
make money in the beauty industry, because even growing up, when I would say like, oh, I want to go to cosmetology school, or I want to do this and that, I was always met with like, oh, it's not stable. It's not a nine to
Mhm.
five. It's not
Mhm.
secure. You're not going to make
Mhm.
money. So I love being able to show other people it is very possible. And my team and I, we travel from literally one side of the country to the next, working different pageants, different weddings. We haven't gone international yet, but we've had inquiries for it. So we're going to put that on the vision board for 2026 that we'll go overseas somewhere.
That's fantastic. Absolutely love that. And I love that
Thank you.
you're expanding with other artists within your network too. So is this all word of mouth? Are you, as far as getting from pageant to pageant to pageant and client to client to client?
In part, word of mouth does go a long way. To sit in the hair and makeup room when people walk by and they see your work, or just see, how you interact with the girls, they definitely, will want to know who you are, what other pageants they can get to, because it is very hard as a team to be at every single pageant, and there are so many pageants. So it's a great way for them to be able to request us to come out to them when they don't have somebody they have been working with, or if they're looking for somebody new. But then also social media has played such a huge part in it as well. And I've always felt like pageant hair and makeup sometimes is too easy, because a lot of times, to just get on as a vendor, that's easy, very easy business model there, because their pageant is helping like advertise you. And I've had to step back at times and think to myself, like, why is this so easy? It's kind of spooked me, almost like a too good to be true kind of moment. But I think that also goes to show that when you do something that you're in alignment with, it's not hard. It doesn't feel like you're pulling teeth. I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely have my moments. I'm ready to send my head through a wall and I'm like, why did I get into this again? But overall, like as a whole, have been very fortunate. My business has been very blessed and I'm very grateful for that. Entrepreneurship will just always have its downfalls and its moments, but
Absolutely, absolutely. And, where it sounds like both of our backgrounds align as far as our family having the limited beliefs, because it's really, like we said, it's all mindset
yeah,
of you need to have a 9 to 5, you need to have the stability, right? And versus where like the way we think is global domination. Like, why the hell not, right? Like, we can do this. What are we passionate about? And those passions turn into business opportunities. I do think between pageants, like I said, and direct sales, like it teaches you so much. I really wish everyone gets into at least one of those industries for sure.
absolutely.
I'm still in direct sales, but
And
I
I
love.
brag all the time about my time in direct sales because I wouldn't be half the woman I am today without it.
Yeah, yeah, me either. And I mean, I wouldn't have met you had it been for direct sales. That's how we met
That's for
because I
sure.
was sponsoring with my jewelry business. So I love that. And what else are you doing? Are you going to be competing again? Quick crown check, Queen. If you're vibing with this episode, you're exactly the type of badass I built my empire for. Whether you're building your fuck it fund, launching your brand, craving a midlife reinvention, or just want to look and feel like a million freaking bucks, I've got you. From merch that speaks your truth to digital tools, coaching, and yes, even collagen that slaps. I serve the sass, the strategy, and the sparkle to help women over 40 take up space and cash checks doing what they love. Head on over to reneecarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn your midlife into your power era.
I've been saying no. On my vision board has actually been to do a bodybuilding competition. I think that would be a lot of fun and just, like a good test of the fitness journey. But for one, when I was competing in pageants and trying to just keep like at my peak level of fitness and making sure that I was going into competition knowing I left nothing behind,
Yeah.
coming out of that and trying to learn like, okay, what does every day look like for me has been a bit of a challenge, a bit of a struggle. But now here I am almost 2 years out of it. And I feel like I'm finally catching my rhythm, I should say.
Mhm.
So I don't want to backtrack myself and be like, okay, I got it. Let's just do it now. So trying to make sure I pace myself. I don't want to come, don't want to come out of this with an eating disorder by any means, but bodybuilding competition is on my vision board. So that's something I've been thinking about, but I don't know. Pageantry, I go back and forth with it a lot. I think there's so much I would love to go and do over now that I have much more experience behind myself to know, like, okay, this is what I would do differently. This is what I would want to do instead. I think there's a lot of me too that would love to have just like the experience I wanted with it. I'm very grateful for a lot of my time, but there's a lot of it that I look back, I'm like, this wasn't exactly what I thought it would be. While there's like, a lot of greats, there's a lot of moments I'm like, I wish, this had been different, or even my time in Asia, I wish that had been different.
Yeah.
So I kind of do want like a good do-over moment, but I also am in a place in life that I feel that I've gotten from pageantry what it has to offer for me. So maybe not. I don't
Yeah.
know. Ask me
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll give you a new
exactly.
answer.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Now, besides you transitioning through your father's illness, like and you've struggled with weight and you've been honest about that, but what are the other struggles that you've gone through that were your like aha moments?
Honestly, breakups. It's funny, my family used to tell you that they were so sure I would be that girl that would come out of high school and instantly get married. And now they're kind of questioning, like, you going to slow down at any point? Like, is this even something you're thinking about anymore?
Yeah.
Which it is, want to be able to find that balance. But I've also always said, too, for one, like, if a man can't keep up, then why would I slow down?
Good.
Somebody can come keep up, then we
Yep.
can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But in college, I had a boyfriend at the time and we had moved in together. I thought for sure, like, this is forever. This is what I want it to be. And then when we broke up, I was a little blindsided by it. I personally didn't necessarily see it coming. And my family and friends, of course, were concerned about how I was going to manage and navigate it. But I honestly just felt this like overwhelming sense of peace. And I just knew that it was really teaching me something and that I was going to be grateful for it later on. I do get spiritual and I believe in angel numbers and signs.
Right.
So to me, I thought everything made sense when the following year on the same exact day is actually when we took my dad into the hospital and found out like his cancer had returned. And this is what started everything with him and us finding out like he was terminal with it. We had to start hospice care. And I think the timing and it being that same exact day is kind of that reminder like it's a great thing we broke up because then I moved home and then I was able to take care of my dad and be with him in those final moments that I might not have had if we had still been together, living hours away off at college. So for that, I hold a lot of gratitude for. But also to move home and think like I had my whole life planned ahead of me, and with what he wanted to do and with what I wanted to do and how we were going to combine it. There was a lot of like overwhelm and confusing feelings in this too, because it's like, wow, now I have to figure out my life and what I'm doing, but also so much freedom and liberation to sit there and be like, but now I get to decide. And now as I move on with dating, I get to find somebody who can be in alignment with what I want. And
Mhm.
so with that, it's been a huge transformation for me to live alone and decide, like, do I want to live there? Do I want to live here? What does the future look like for me? And that's, also something I do hold a lot of gratitude for. I think like each relationship teaches us something, and I'm really grateful for my time with him, because I also think that, had we not have been together, had we not have broke up when we did, I wouldn't have ended up back home. And who knows, maybe I would have gone on to become a news anchor, which, by the way, is what I originally went to college for.
Mhm.
But I, also I really just can't imagine like how different life would be if I hadn't moved home. I think that like big thing for me, for one, was getting to be back to take care of my dad and be a part of that. And I just like honestly can't hold any anger, frustrations, especially
Yeah.
now with like how long it's been, of course. But even in that moment, it's like you just have to be so overwhelmed with gratitude, because I know it put me there for a reason. And even another relationship I had a few years after, it's what encouraged me to move to Louisville, which is where I've always kind of wanted to live. I know it's not forever, but it's a good right now.
Mhm.
But it's, I grew up in a small town, and as somebody who was self employed, it is a little overwhelming to think about moving to a bigger city where, everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
But making that move with him, and even once we broke up, being able to say, like, okay, well, I'm not going to backtrack. I'm going to figure this out. I'm only going forward. I'm not stepping back. And say, okay, I'm in a big city, so I'm going to figure out how to live here and make it work. And being able to make it work is also something that I realize, everything in our life really is just placed there for a reason. It's up to us to just look to see like what it is that we're learning from it and how we can grow from it.
Exactly. But how did you get to be such a positive, forward-thinking person where you look at those obstacles and you embrace immediately the lessons that you learned from it and you express the gratitude for the hardship? How did you get that? Was this
Direct
something that your
sales.
parents, you know direct sale,
Yeah,
okay.
honestly, like so much of learning about the mindset, because I came into it, and even though I considered myself to be a positive person, I was very quickly humbled and reminded like that's actually a negative mindset, that you're not looking at this in the right kind of light. Like I remember I just got signed up, and I was supposed to be moving into my college dorm, and we were having like a team Zoom call, and I was a little frustrated like, oh, well, I can't make it. I guess I also needed to humble myself there, because why would I expect other people to rearrange their schedule around me? But I was a little upset, like, I can't make this. I have to do my college stuff. I have to move into my dorm, and it's just chaos. So, I guess I'm just going to have to miss this. And one of the girls very quickly humbled me and was like, I'm also moving into my new house this day, and my Zoom call will be on with my AirPods in while I move my stuff, so you can make it work. And I didn't love hearing that by any means. It was like,
Yep.
it's like, okay, that was a tough love moment, but it was a tough love moment I needed, because once I stopped to think about it, I was like, damn, she's right. If
Yep.
she can do it, I can do it. She is right. I can put in an AirPod. And it actually wound up being so well. Dorm move in day was not crazy like it typically was. Don't know what happened there, but I was able to sit down and do both. And that's when I started to realize like, okay, we find a way and we make it work. But, we also did so many different trainings on mindset. And then I would make sure to like, I found a way to afford the expenditures to go to our company conferences every year. But even beyond that, I wanted to go see like Eric Worre in person and get to be in those rooms with people who were in places I wanted to be. So I knew I needed to adopt their mindset. And the more you sit with them and hear them think and hear the way that they talk, you start to realize, like, wow, okay, this is very inspirational. And I see now, like, where my shortcomings are. I think this is something that a lot of times people miss. We just get, like, very stuck in our ways and think, like, oh, this isn't possible for me.
Yeah.
And we hear other people tell us with their limiting beliefs, like, that's not how it works. But those people don't know. They've not been in those rooms and those spaces, and they've not put themselves to that extent. So you need to go and surround yourself with people who have been in the places that you want to be, so that you can learn from that. And if they can do it, why not you?
I love that. And the thing is like you were young, but you put yourself in those places. You couldn't afford to, but you couldn't afford not to.
Yes, that's the biggest mindset shift.
Yeah, so many people get stuck in that. "Oh, I can't afford to. I can't afford to go. I can't afford to invest in coaching or go to a networking show or whatever." You can't afford not to. If you want to stay stuck exactly where you are, you do you, boo. But if you want
Absolutely.
to
Have fun
grow,
with that.
well, good luck to you, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a powerful thing when you start investing in yourself
I
because
remember.
you feel that sense of I'm becoming the person that God wanted me to be, that God meant me to be. I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on because I invested in myself, because I listened to what the universe was sharing.
Absolutely. And I think too, there was this story that I used to hear people say. There was two men, and there was a book for $12 about how to become a millionaire. And one man spent the $12 to buy the book because he wanted to learn how to become a millionaire. And the other guy was like, well, I can probably find it for cheaper somewhere else. So while the other guy is looking for the better deal, the best deal, this other guy's reading it and he's putting plans into action and he's becoming a millionaire. But the other guy is still
Mhm.
just looking for the better deal. So I think it goes to show why it's so important to just make that expenditure and figure it out, because like truthfully you can't afford not to. And any chance or any moment that you have that you're like, well, let me find something better, or I need to start it better, or I need to learn more first before I get started, you're just halting your progress. Success loves speed. If you want to be successful, you've got to come at it full force and go for it.
Yep, buckle up. I always say, "Buckle up, bitches. Here we go."
Swear to God.
Always, always. Now, what advice would you give to others that, are either stuck and, unsure of where to go, or they feel like they know, but they're still, maybe holding themselves back?
Actually, my favorite advice I've ever gotten came from one of my uplines when I was in direct sales. Her and I actually had a very, very close relationship, even outside of direct sales when we both stepped away. We stayed very close. Like, I mean, to the point, we would be at family gatherings together and I'd walk into her house without knocking. Um, we also one year got matching tattoos at one of our company conferences with some of the other girls that were like a part of our team. But she would always say to marry the process and divorce the results. You have to be so in love with the sport of it, with studying it, with being a student to it, that you show up each and every day, that you're putting forth the actions to it, but you're divorcing the outcome and you're not worried about what it is necessarily that you're getting from it, because you're too busy focused on building it and becoming it. And when you do that, that's where you build those habits to become consistent, and then the outcome follows along with it, because we're all going to have like the ups and downs. With weight loss, you start losing weight and then you plateau, but you have to keep consistent so you break through that plateau. Building a business, we all have slow seasons. This economy has sucked. So things will slow down. But if you give up, of course, you're going to lose everything. But when you keep going, that's when it'll come back. She's one of the biggest inspirations I've had in this lifetime. We actually lost her this year to colon cancer. So those of us that got the tattoo got it turned blue. But I love getting to talk about her any chance that I can.
Oh, I'm sorry for your loss, but I love that, she's had such a profound impact on your life. And that's the thing with direct sales and pageantry. You create this community of like-minded women, and it is powerful. Like when you have the same mindset, the same type of goals, the support that we get from each other is like no other. No other. More support than
Everyone.
friends and family,
Honestly.
right? I mean, it's
Honestly.
it's mind-blowing. You're going like, I've got so much love and sisterhood from these people who, I've met through these things, but the people closest to me, it's like crickets. Where the hell did they
Yeah.
go?
And the people who support you too, 9 times out of 10 will be a stranger before it's a family member, a friend, somebody that you really know.
Yeah. I just did a post actually last night because don't you find in my, I'm 55, so I've gone through a hell of a lot,
You
right?
look great. I wouldn't have
But
guessed.
thank you. I'll be
Okay.
56 the end of this year. Um, but what I find is the way we go through our lives, the pivots that we make, right? People have a version of us that they put on us. And if they see us in a certain way, they don't applaud us when we decide to go in another direction, when we decide to allow ourselves to become the person that we're meant to be. They put us in this box, and it's like it's really mind-blowing in a way that you go, okay, these people aren't really my people. They're not supporting me. They were supporting me when they could, I can't say control, but when they had more uh, in line, and they, their limited beliefs is preventing them from encouraging the next chapter of who we are.
Yeah,
Right.
literally. I think about this all the time too. You know, if I was to run into somebody I dated in the past, for one, they would never recognize me because I've always had like long blonde hair. So
Yes.
look wise, look a little different these days. But, also to just think about who they knew at the time in that chapter of my life and what they would probably have to say about me. And they don't know the growth and the transformation I've had, even the friends that I'm not friends with anymore. Because, sometimes as you grow and you level yourself up, you lose some people along the way. And I think I just cut out there for a second. But as you lose people along the way on your growth journey, a lot of those people, for one, like just don't deserve to get to know the new you who's grown and who's healed. But also, there is something that can be kind of so beautiful to sit back and remind yourself of your own growth journey and to know that that's where you once were, but now look at where you currently are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, your growth has been incredible. You are beautiful inside and out. I love watching you on social. You're a blast. You're a light.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so thrilled for your success and everything that's going to happen in your future. So, what are you looking forward to next? What is the big thing? How people can follow you? What would you, your ideal client? Is there some way that we can support you?
Absolutely. Let's see. I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to at the moment is, for one, enjoying this slower season. This is kind of when pageantry starts to slow down for me. And this is when I get to go out and make up for lost time with my friends and my family. And also, thinking about what's going to go on the 2026 vision board, because it's
Yep.
honestly time to think about this. But, of course, still want to end the year strong for my business. So don't want that to just fall stagnant here at the end. But as far as social media goes and getting connected with me, I'm personally on there as everything's the same for me everywhere. It's the Danielle Mullins. I try to make it as easy as possible, but you can keep up with my hair and makeup at the Glamour team, and Glamour does have an E at the end. And then I also do pageant coaching. A lot of that stemmed from me just being in the industry and seeing like, okay, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of weird struggles people don't talk about in the industry that I want to bring light to and be able to help other people. And also because I did go and spend a month internationally living, basically literally living in like another country, and I want to help people prepare for moments like this. And so that is at crowned.mentality. But we
Hi.
bring a lot of like, I would almost say like life coaching principles, because so much of it comes back to that mindset piece.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good. The world is your oyster. Here we
Yes,
go.
that's my favorite line. Yes, the world is our
Really?
oyster.
Yep, I love it. I love it. So everyone, please go follow Danielle Mullins. Follow her on your favorite social media channels and network her to, your people, because you never know who she could impact. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next Unapologetically Badass. Bye, y'all. Well, that's a wrap for today, Queen. But don't just walk away inspired, walk away activated. If this episode lit a fire under your fabulous ass, hit that follow button, leave a review, and share it with your fiercest ride or die. Your support helps this podcast reach even more women who are ready to reclaim their power. And hey, if you're ready to look, feel, and earn like a million freaking bucks, I've got an entire badass empire waiting for you. From confidence boosting merch to brand strategy, coaching, collagen content, and everything in between, head on over to reneecarbonefleming.com or tap the link in the show notes. Pick your flavor of badass and let's turn midlife into your power era. Stay bold, stay unapologetic, and wear the damn crown.